I never imagined humiliation would be the thing that finally opened my eyes. I am Callum Reed, 42, married 12 years, dependable to a fault. I believed marriage was built on patience, consistency, and showing up even when romance faded. I paid the mortgage on time, fixed what broke, remembered birthdays, listened when no one else did. I thought that was enough. I thought respect followed effort. I was wrong, and the night I learned it began quietly, like most endings do. It was a Tuesday, unremarkable. Rain tapping the windows, the house smelling faintly of detergent and leftover pasta. My wife, Ilara, lay beside me scrolling her phone, the glow lighting her face more than my presence did. I reached for her, not urgently, just a hand on her hip. A familiar gesture meant to say I was still here. She sighed, not loudly, but sharp enough to cut. Then she said it, casually, cruelly, without even turning toward me. She told me I was disappointing in bed, that she had expected more from a man my age, that maybe I should accept some men just never had it. I laughed at first, not because it was funny, but because my mind rejected the insult. I asked what she meant, kept my voice steady, searching her face for a sign this was frustration speaking. She rolled her eyes and repeated it, slower this time, as if explaining something obvious to a child. There was no anger in her tone, just boredom. That hurt more than shouting ever could. I turned away, staring at the ceiling, feeling something inside me fold inward and lock shut. The days after blurred together. I went to work, nodded through meetings, came home, cooked dinner, slept beside a woman who spoke to me like a defective appliance. I told myself words were just words. I told myself everyone says things they regret. What I did not tell myself was that respect, once gone, rarely returns. Ilara began dropping small comments, jokes edged with contempt, comparisons I never asked for. Each one landed, unseen by her, heavy on me. The breaking point arrived through an unexpected door. On Friday evening, Ilara invited her friend Marin over for wine. Marin was someone I barely knew, sharp-eyed, observant, the kind of person who listened more than she spoke. I planned to stay out of their way, but as I passed the kitchen, I heard my name. Ilara was laughing, reenacting her insult, embellishing it now, enjoying the performance. My chest tightened, but I stayed still, unwilling to interrupt. Marin did not laugh. There was a pause, thick and uncomfortable. Then Marin spoke, her voice calm but firm. She asked Ilara if she realized how cruel she sounded. She asked whether humiliating her husband was supposed to make her feel powerful. Ilara scoffed, tried to wave it off, but Marin did not let her. She said, intimacy dies when contempt takes over, and contempt does not appear out of nowhere. She said maybe the problem was not Callum at all, but a woman who needed to tear someone down to avoid looking at herself. Silence followed. I stepped into the doorway then, not to defend myself, but because hiding suddenly felt pointless. Ilara looked startled, then defensive. She opened her mouth, ready with another remark, but Marin continued, turning toward me. She said I deserved respect, that no partner should feel small in their own bed, that love without kindness was just control wearing a softer mask. The words were not loud, not dramatic, but they landed with precision. Ilara's face changed. The confidence drained, replaced by something brittle. She accused Marin of taking sides, of misunderstanding, of overreacting. Marin only shrugged and said, sometimes an outside voice says what the inside voice is too afraid to admit. She finished her wine, grabbed her coat, and left without another word. The door closed softly behind her, but the house felt louder than ever. Ilara turned on me then, anger sharp, blaming me for embarrassing her, for letting her friend interfere. I listened quietly, realizing this was the same pattern replayed. Deflect, diminish, dominate. When she finally stopped, waiting for my apology, I told her I was done accepting disrespect. I said I would not share a bed, a life, or a future with someone who enjoyed cutting me down. I did not shout. I did not insult her back. I simply stated a boundary she never expected me to draw. That night, I slept in the guest room. The next morning, I packed a bag. Ilara watched, stunned, asking if I was really leaving over words. I told her it was never just the words. It was the ease with which she used them, the absence of remorse, the belief that I would stay no matter how small she made me feel. I walked out with a strange sense of calm, like someone stepping out of a storm into clear air. I do not know what Ilara told herself after I left. I do know that Marin's words echoed longer than any insult ever had. They did not shatter Ilara because they were cruel. They shattered her because they were true. And for the first time in years, I chose dignity over endurance, and silence over humiliation. And that choice changed everything. Weeks later, clarity replaced confusion. I rented a small flat, cooked simple meals, slept without tension in my shoulders. Friends noticed I stood straighter, spoke slower, smiled without effort. I did not rush to label Ilara a villain, nor myself a hero. I accepted that endings can be quiet, reasonable, and necessary. When Marin checked in, I thanked her for honesty, not rescue. She reminded me that self-respect grows when practiced daily. I learned that intimacy thrives on safety, not fear, and love cannot survive where mockery is normal. Leaving did not break me. Staying would have. I finally trusted my own judgment.